feel so bad because I have red hair, so I know I'm going to get like completely red because I get really nervous. But, okay. So, yeah, I know. Okay. I don't want to like spit on it because okay. I work for the York Daily Record, by the way. My name's Sam. So this is really exciting, but also I'm going to be nervous. But, okay, so when we're talking about going the distance, I'm going to keep my story as well as I can under that time limit. But it's going to sound long because when I think of going the distance, it was just this like series of unfortunate events where it was just such a long distance. So I'm 20 years old at the time, and it's my sophomore year of college. It is December, so it is the Sunday before finals week. And I'm sitting in my sweatpants. I have a bag of barbecue chips. I'm like not actually studying, but I'm pretending I totally am. And I'm just like talking to my boyfriend at the time who, he went to Temple, and because I grew up in North Philadelphia, and we'd been dating since we were 14 years old, which just sounds disgusting even like saying now. So we've been dating for like 6 years at the time as 20-year-olds, and we're talking about like what we're going to be doing over break. And at one point I'm just like, oh, like, well, one day you have to go back to Temple. And he was like, oh, like, don't worry about that. And I was like, no, like, what day? Like, I have to go back? What day do you have to go back? And he goes, well, I'm not going back. Like, over a text message. And I was like, what do you mean you're not going back? And he was like, you know, he was like, I didn't like sign up for like the classes. And I was like, oh. And I was like, okay. So I like tried to call him. He wasn't answering his phone because I was like, I'm just confused. And so he was just like, I decided it wasn't for me. That's totally fine. But as I said, like, I'm 20 years old. I've known this kid since we were like 10 years old. Dated since we were 14. I'm like, something is wrong. Like, he always wanted to go to school. He was an honor student. I have to go home. So it's 7 o'clock around when this like first whole series of unfortunate events started to happen. And I was like, I need to get home to Philadelphia now. Something is going on and I need to be there. I did have a car at school. But I unfortunately was that asshole who, like, my dad always said, make sure you, like, turn your car on every 2 weeks. Make sure you, like, get the snow off of it. Make sure it's running. And I was always like, I'm not going to do that. I didn't do that. I, like, finally get to my car, which is, like, about a mile or so, like, away from where I am, which was actually, like, a long walk at the time. I get there in my car. It's State College, Pennsylvania. So there's, like, mountains of snow on my car. I also don't have a windshield wiper because why would I? Because windshield wiper, but I also meant to say the scraper. I had an extra windshield wiper. That is what I had. That was in my car from when it had broken off before. So I'm using this windshield wiper to try to get the snow off of my car, and I'm also wearing like Uggs, and I take the Ugg off, and I'm like using both of them to like try to get my like car out of the snow. I get my car out of the snow and I'm driving it, and there were people like walking around, and I'm also talking to myself as this is all going on because I was like trying to calm myself down. And now looking back at it, I'm like, it wasn't my life. It was him who wasn't going to school anymore. I don't know why I was so upset about it, but I was like, oh my God, something's wrong. So I'm talking to myself being like, I need to get home, get this. I'm like balancing on one foot being like, I need to make sure the snow gets off and I need to go. My one headlight isn't working. I ignored that as well, and I'm like, I can make it. Didn't really get far. Cop pulled me over. And he's like, miss, do you know that your like left headlight is out? And I was like, oh, I had no idea. I did. It was dark, so I was like, I could tell that something was off. And I was like, oh, I didn't know. I didn't realize. Sorry. And he's like, you need to get that fixed. Go to an AutoZone around State College. The AutoZone closes at 7. And as I said, this all started at 7. I miraculously did this in like a really quick span of time. So it's only like 7:15. So I then realized that like I had just missed this window by like 15 minutes. So then I'm like, oh my God, am I gonna get pulled over? Oh my God, my license doesn't reflect my correct address, so I can't really like bank on getting pulled over because that would be a problem. So I like Google on my phone, I'm gonna take a bus. If any of you have ever taken a mega bus, you know, they're pretty cheap. But the one that I got, since it was for that night, was $60, which actually was like a lot of money at the time, being 20 years old, and I was kind of like, I don't really work right now. So I was like, okay, I get it though, and it's leaving at 8:15. It's going to get to Philadelphia in 5 hours at 1:15, and I was like, that's okay, I can do it. So I make my way there, I leave my car, I'm like, I'm gonna take a mega bus, because this is so logical. I get on the bus, I immediately get on the bus and pretend to be asleep because I was like, if somebody tries to talk to me, I'm going to slit their throats, which is not the thing to say, but I was like, I'm not gonna like that. Somebody does sit next to me, and this woman tries to be like, oh, are you going home for finals? And I was like, I have a final tomorrow, I just need to be back here right away, don't talk to me. And she's like, oh, okay. And I was like, oh my God. So either way, oh no, I'm on this mega bus, and we're going, and we're like finally like almost there. We get there to Philadelphia, 1:15 a.m. The subway stops at 1 a.m. So I'm still like, oh my God, what's going to happen? I call a cab because I didn't have Uber at the time. So that was kind of interesting. Get to the cab, I get to my boyfriend's house, and I'm banging on his door and calling him. He comes out, we sit on his porch, and now this is where like, it kind of gets pathetic. So like we broke up. So that was like a big deal at the time, and it's, you know, still is, but it's fine. And he was like, yeah, he's like, I just don't know what I'm doing. And I was like, what do you mean, like you're quitting school? And he was like, I don't know, it's not for me. He wanted to be president of the United States, and that sounds like I'm making that up, but I swear to God when I say, when you'd ask this kid what do you want to be when he grew up, he'd be like, well, first I'm going to start out as the mayor of Philadelphia, and then I'm going to be the president. And I'd be like, okay, great. So I was like, I don't know what you're doing. Quit school, yeah, so that breakup whole thing happened, and then I'm like, okay, well, cried a little bit. I don't have a key to my house in Philadelphia because it was a big deal for my parents to give us a key. So I went to my sister's house, who had just had a baby. She luckily was nice enough to give me her car to then drive back to school, which I would then have to drive home after I took my exam because now it is about 4 in the morning and I have an exam in State College at 11. And I was like, oh no, this fucking sucks because I'm going to now fail out of school as well as this boyfriend who now is just leaving me out to dry. I get pulled over by a cop driving back to State College because I'm speeding. He tests me for a DUI. I am trying to speed it up, but like, this is too good not to tell. Just because I am crying, that was why. Like, I was going speeding and I was crying. He's like, have you been drinking? It's like a Monday morning. I'm like, no, I haven't been drinking. What are you doing? He was like, do you realize how fast you're going? And I was like, no, I don't realize how fast I'm going. My life has just been destroyed, sir. And I said that too. And I shouldn't have said that because he probably would have been nicer to me. And he's like making me do like walking in a straight line. It was really cold and I also was just so like stupid nervous. And so now to wrap it up, he then did a breathalyzer on me. I had not had anything to drink. And he was like, you're fine, but like, I think I need you to calm down before you like get back in your car and go. So he made me like sit with him for like 15 minutes until I stopped crying. And luckily then he finally did let me go. And he was like, he had told me though one thing. He said, honey, you know what, you're 20 years old. And he didn't say like, you're pretty. He had said, you have red hair. That's really rare. You're gonna find somebody. And I was like, well, Jesus Christ, if that goes, I'm fucking screwed. So that was what he said to me. I did get back to State College and I took my exam. I got like a B on it. It was chemistry and I'm now in journalism, so I didn't really need it. But if you think of it that way. But so going the distance, it was just like a lot of obstacles for me to get broken up with and get like, had to go through a DUI test. And it still like makes me cry almost thinking about it right now. So I'm really proud of myself.